Men are 4 times more likely to die by suicide than women. And you know what we keep telling them? Just hit the gym, bro.
You want the greatest therapy of your life? Get in the fucking gym.
If you're struggling with mental health, ditch your therapist and hit the gym instead.
The gym has done more for my mental health than any fucking therapy ever will.
Look, right now in the Netherlands, more than 4 out of 10 people are struggling with anxiety and depressive feelings. And worldwide, we have over 1 billion people struggling with mental health disorders. And look, part of this has to do with the rise in obesity and the increase in ultra-processed foods. But there are also many guys who eat healthy and train every day that are struggling. Now, here's the thing. I've been struggling since I was young, and I had no idea what mental health even was. Nobody taught me anything about emotions. And for a long time, I believed that any problem could be solved just by putting your head down and working harder. So I did that and got massively successful. Everything looked perfect to the outside world, but I had a burnout physically and mentally, completely broke down, couldn't do anything anymore. And so I've learned a lot from this experience, things that I want to share with you today, because it would have saved me years from suffering. So this may be my most important video ever.
Mental health is invisible, and that's what makes it so damn difficult. Someone on crutches, obviously injured. Someone with depression, they look fine from the outside. Many people think ADHD isn't real, that anxiety is just being dramatic, but we have brain scans now. This stuff is scientifically proven, and when the world isn't built for your type of brain, you might struggle following the normal path in society. Or maybe you've lost someone close to you, or you've been through a heavy breakup. Maybe you're never feeling enough. You're constantly chasing the next high, whether that is your physique, money, substances, sex, distractions. See, many people are constantly beating themselves up, being their own worst enemy, and I did this for years. And now with social media, it's even worse because you see the highlight reel of everybody's life, and it looks like everyone is doing something incredible, and you need to do all these different things with your life, and it gives you all these options which you're not pursuing, and that makes you start to feel bad about yourself. So where do we go when life gets heavy? Where do we put all that pain? We escape to the one place where we know we can forget about everything: the gym.
So why do we keep telling men to just go to the gym? See, it's everywhere. Friends, social media, but even therapists say working out is good for your mental health. And that's not wrong, but it turned into the gym will fix your mental health. And those are two very different things. Now, I'm not saying we're all guilty of this, but I know for a fact that I have been. So back when I was 19 years old, one of my best friends' dad, he passed away very tragically. And my friend got depressed after that, right? Now, we were very young. I never talked to anyone about my emotions, and I just didn't know what kind of questions to ask him or how to help him. And so my answer was, I'm gonna take him to the gym. So we trained together a couple times a week, and like he got out of the house. I think it was good, but he also had a therapist at the same time. Now, I was just wondering, what if he didn't have that therapist, and what if all his friends only took him to the gym? Then he would actually have no one to talk to. So why do we default to this? Well, it's much easier than the alternative, sitting with someone's pain, having a real conversation. I just don't think we know how to even do that. So saying just live, bro, lets us feel helpful without going there. And let's be honest, if you're the person who is struggling, it's also difficult to tell your friends. And it fits perfectly into what we've been taught as men. Not being weak, not complaining, and the gym is therapy because it makes you work on yourself. But what if I told you that working on yourself and actually reaching the next level in your life is not all about lifting more weights? It can actually become an escape in which it looks and feels like personal development, but it's actually keeping you stuck. Now, for a long time, the gym actually helped. And for me personally, the gym truly changed my life because I was actually a problem child, had a lot of issues in school, even with the police. And I had a lot of like this anger inside of me. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life. So picking up the weights changed a lot for me. It also made me confident for the first time in my life. I set a goal and I actually went after it, and that felt amazing. And so it actually worked. Feeling stressed, train. Anxious, go harder. Bad day, endorphins hit, you feel better, you think you've got it all figured out. Now, the more shit I went through, personal and in my business, I would start to go to the gym more often, and I would start to train harder and harder as an escape, until at some point I started regularly almost fainting, almost passing out. And I thought that was discipline. I thought that was me just putting in the work. But what was actually happening is I wasn't processing anything. I was just burying it under fatigue. Too tired to think about your problems? Problem solved. Except it's not. And what can happen is the gym becomes part of the mask. You look healthy, so people will assume you're doing okay. He's in great shape, so he must have his life together. And some of the most jacked guys are struggling the most. And that's because we all think that it's all about discipline, but sometimes discipline is actually avoidance. And that's what's happening with a lot of people that go to the gym as an escape. It's actually avoidance. And you call it discipline, but it may not be for you. Because for you, it's easy to actually hit the gym every day, you know, to put on those gloves and start boxing. But it's actually hard to really face what's going on in your life and in your mind. Now, let's get this straight. I'm not anti-gym. It does help, just not in the way that we may think. And the first one is that the mind follows the body. And we know this from science by now as well. And look, when you look good, you feel good. And that's why you see me wear all these fresh outfits to the gym. Now, whether I'm lifting, running, or boxing, I'm wearing Alphalete because they have the most perfect fits. And they just make your physique look outstanding. They always make my arms look twice as big. They ship worldwide and they now also have a European warehouse, so no longer any import tax. Code Marijn will give you 10% off, and I'll link them in the description box down below. Now, lifting weights also improves your testosterone levels, having many benefits, not limited to more female attention, aura around you, but also better sleep, more energy in general. Those endorphins are real, and we all know how it feels to finish an incredible workout or to get that runner's high while we're going at it. It gets you out of the house, away from screens, and you're surrounded by people instead of isolated. It also creates structure. It gives your day something consistent. And when you train, you automatically eat better, you sleep better, all leading to positive changes mentally as well. These are all small wins you can control, and in a chaotic world, the progress is measurable because the weights, they don't lie. But here's the key. The gym is a tool, not a cure. It supports mental health, but it doesn't fix it. And look, for some people, myself included in the past, the gym can be enough to get you out of a real rut, to truly change your life. Because there is one thing that I can tell you. If I don't go to the gym for weeks and I lay on the couch, I start eating unhealthy, my life starts spiraling down, and then I will guarantee that I will have mental health problems. Now, do you know what a dog and the gym have in common? They make you live in the moment. Look how happy she is to be home. That just automatically, come on, gives you a mood boost. And the same thing goes for the gym. It just makes you automatically live in the moment. And that is something we're missing in our lives a lot. And I feel like that is a big contributor to your mental health. So I'm not saying you have to get a dog, but hey, it does help. This is not my dog, by the way. We're dog sitting. And look, technology is hijacking our attention all day, so it's great to find ways to be more present. But there's a difference between your attention going outwards and it going inwards. So here are the 3 things that the gym can't do. First one is the gym can't teach you to sit with yourself. Training teaches you to push, to keep going, and that's useful, but sometimes you need the opposite. You need to slow down, feel what you're actually feeling, to stop distracting yourself. And for a lot of people, training becomes another escape, another way to avoid these uncomfortable emotions. I love this saying by Eckhart Tolle, and it is that we are human beings, not human doings. Second is that the gym cannot fix the root cause. If you have stress at work, issues in your relationship, things from your past, the barbell doesn't care. If you're anxious because you people please or because your identity is tied to achievement, training is not going to change that. If you're unhappy with your career, your relationships, or your direction in life, getting leaner won't solve it. You'll literally just be the same person with a better physique. And the third is the gym can't replace professional help. If you're dealing with real anxiety, burnout, or trauma, a workout plan isn't enough. You need someone who actually knows how to help you understand what's going on. A therapist, a psychologist, a coach, there is no shame in that. It's just a different tool for a different problem. You wouldn't fix a broken leg with bicep curls, right? So why would you expect the gym to fix your mind? The gym is really powerful at what it's designed to do, but I think we've turned it into something it was never meant to be. A replacement for self-reflection, a way to avoid actually dealing with life. Now here's the ultimate 5-step solution to fix your mental health. Shut the fuck up. See, there are many tools that have worked for me, but if I list them, you will start to think that this is the answer. You might approach it the same way as fitness, and that will go against this whole video. There is no one hack or 5 steps to follow. It's time to understand that we are all different as humans, and we need different things in different stages of life, even for different periods of time. The idea is very comforting.
of hearing what works for someone and then hoping it will work for you too. And sometimes it does. But experience has taught me that more often than not, it doesn't. And this is how many people and also institutions make use of you. I believe that one of the reasons why much more people get diagnosed with ADHD than 20 years ago is that so many people feel lost and they hear someone talking on TikTok about symptoms and they relate to it. But even if you have ADHD, some medications might work for you and some will be absolutely horrible, which I've experienced myself too. And me, myself, I only take it during certain periods of my life. Since I figured out I have ADHD. And even if something works, it doesn't eliminate all the other things you have to change in your life to actually make it effective. Same thing goes for TRT. I heard others talk about it and I totally related to every symptom. My levels were low and it seemed like the answer, but I took it before changing other lifestyle factors and I ignored those and it led to me suffering again. While for someone else, it might be the right answer. And in 20 years from now, it probably will be the right answer for me again. Some people will not do well in therapy, and I hated therapy when I started, and it genuinely did not help me. Only years later, when I found out someone I had a connection with, I gave it another try, and it was life-changing. I didn't realize that the specific person was the problem, not the method itself. Some people will do well with meditation. For other people, it's much better to do breathing exercises. And for someone else, it's really good to journal. For me personally, that never really worked to do that every single day. And so if I tried to get myself to do that, it would cause me more stress than it would benefit my mental health. And that's the problem with a lot of these tools. They just become another box to check off our daily to-do list. And then it really defeats the purpose of these tools because they are supposed to bring us more insight and clarity and not just be another thing we're doing, but something that helps us with being. Escaping the hustle culture has been really positive for me in my life. But when I started hustling, that changed my life also because I went from a problem child to a successful man, which gave me the space to work on myself mentally later. If you're not eating healthy right now, that will surely help. But if you're already eating really healthy, you understand macros and make good food choices overall, hyper focusing on biohacking and stressing over the perfect foods might actually be harmful to your mental health. Now, if you need help with a personal fitness plan and you speak Dutch, the Daily Wins New Year Challenge will start this week, in which I'll help you get in the best shape of your life, physically and mentally. And I'll fly out the winner to Marbella here for a one-on-one training with me. So link to that will be in the description box down below. So anyway, my point is nobody can give you an easy answer on what to do because it genuinely depends on many different factors that someone on the internet simply can't determine for you. But when I look at these things that I've just shared, and I have so many more examples of this, but I think the most important thing is reflection. If you can start to notice patterns in your life, you can truly change it. And I think that most people never slow down enough to see what is actually going on. And then you keep running in circles. And you don't need a fancy system. You need to start paying attention to your emotions, because awareness is really the first step to real change. And usually these answers are not black and white, but that doesn't really work for good marketing, which is why nobody shares this message on the internet. It's too difficult to put in a TikTok video. Now look, if you're going through something right now, you're not alone. I just want you to know that, not in a cringe way, but sometimes it helps saying it out loud. And I also want to be clear here, it doesn't mean that you need to share everything with everybody and be vulnerable all the time. I think it's become a buzzword. It's okay to have friends also where things stay light, are more on the surface, and it's okay to have different people for different conversations. But still, opening up to a person you trust can truly change your life. And even if the issue feels small to you, you might feel less alone and they might recognize themselves in it, and it could lead to something really amazing. Now, I know guys, between us, it's really hard to talk about this stuff. And if there is little response, don't take it personal. Not everyone is ready for that conversation. It doesn't mean they're not your friend. Maybe it's just, not the right person to have that conversation with. And look, sometimes it's not about you struggling. I know there are many people that have never experienced any of the stuff that I talked about, like in a drastic way, right? With like crazy anxiety or burnout feelings, etc. Some people are very stable. But you can also ask someone else how they are really doing. Give space for more than a surface answer, because we're not all built the same way in our brains, right? You never know what someone's going through, and connection works in both ways. Now, this video really means a lot to me, and I know not everybody has someone they can talk to, so use this space, drop a comment down below, share what you're dealing with, and share what's helping. You know, I think we can all help each other this way. As I said, there is not one objective truth, so it's always good to get ideas to support each other, and I'll read every single comment, and if it's a more private one, just send me a DM on Instagram. Love you guys, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.